Hello, hello. It's me, Annalisa, with my spiritual friend. I am back. It's Sunday, October 23rd. Um, let's see. Last weekend, I went to meet a friend of mine from this women's circle I'm in. She lives out here, and she invited me to come hang out with her in her favorite area of New Jersey, which is Spring Lake, New Jersey. That's where I drove. and it's a pretty town with really big, old Victorian homes and a pretty boardwalk and just a calm town. It's not what I would consider. It's not like a shore town. Like there's no, it's literally a boardwalk to walk on, but it's very beautiful. Um, it's a slow paced town. Anyway, it was a nice time. And so I hope you don't mind that I missed you all, but you all understand, right? Right. Not much else is new. Hi, Regine. I didn't forget you. So that's that. I hope everybody else is well. Hi, Ashley. Hello, Charlie girl. Just putting on some lip stuff. Sorry, I had to eat. That's why I'm late. Because I needed to shovel some food in my gullet, as my grandmother would say. All right, my loves. Let's go. Let's just get started today. Regine, if you want to go ahead and start your questions. I am well, by the way. It's my second week today. I don't know if I told you all this, but so my oldest daughter, we'd been struggling a lot with school refusal. And a couple weeks ago, I just decided to pull her from the school district, not because they weren't trying. I mean, they were definitely doing whatever they could to try and accommodate her, but she was just not, she like wouldn't even go back to school. So we started the homeschooling thing, and first week was a little bumpy, but we're finding our way. So that's kind of what I've been up to. Focusing on her and all our homeschooling stuff and trying to find what's going to work for her. And it's like a lot of really just evaluating where she's at. And like, I don't know, it's been a journey, but it's not terrible. And she's communicating a little bit more. So that's really awesome about what her needs are and where she's at. Can I tell you what you see for your beautiful sister, Lydia? Is Lydia really short of breath? Does she have some health issue where I feel like she has a lot of health issues going on, unless this is you. But I just all of a sudden got like a really real short feeling of breath and like a heat flush come over me, like very, very hot. She's in 6th grade. Hi, Rakdon. She's in 6th grade. So, but I was asking her, I was like, so when we talk about manifesting and figuring things out, and when we put stuff out through our intuition, when I say to you, 99% of the time I'm using this for myself, these are ways that things kind of come up. So I manifested that she would do well in homeschool because I want her to do well, obviously. And she wasn't doing well in the structure that, our society has created for her. And so I woke up and then it was like 4:30 in the morning one morning, and I was awake, just like, what am I going to do? Like, how do I, because she was still refusing. And I just got this very clear notion that when it's too hard for her, rather than say it's too hard, I don't understand, can you help me figure it out? She just refuses to do stuff. She's too tired, or she gets real combative. And so I was like, okay, so my instincts were like, I'm going to go back and just drop back to like lower and lower grades. And I found a great site for just math worksheets because I was like, I'm not going to keep buying all these books and paying for all these. There's a website I joined, all this stuff, if I'm not sure where she's at. And she didn't want to have the tolerance to learn online, or so I was like, I'm just going to drop back to see wherever it's just really easy for her and just let her do stuff where it's really, really easy. And I got the confirmation, like found some information online and then spoke with my mom who used to be a teacher for 24 years. She's like, yeah, that's what you do. You just drop back to wherever it's really easy, build the foundation. And yes, the list is still open. So that's what we're doing. We're just going back to really easy stuff and building her confidence right now so that she's comfortable with it and she's ready to try. And then I had like a nice conversation with her where she was like, yeah, it's when it's hard. I just don't want to do it. And so I said, well, on those days and when stuff is a little harder, we'll do it together. So that's where we're at. Teachers pay teachers from what class? Okay, cool. I'll look at that. Thank you. I knew there was some teachers on here. Teachers pay teachers. But I found like this math website. It's called homeschoolmath.net. And there's just a ton of worksheets and things. And so I can sort of like pick and choose. And the good thing is I'm not terrible at math. I had lots of math throughout school. So I'm not intimidated by it. And I recognize that really with learning anything, if somehow you miss something at the base of it, like you can't expect somebody to just start here. So I don't know if she's lucky to have me. I hope this all works out really well. I don't just totally fuck it up and my kid's like decides to go back to school and they're like, she's at second grade level. I got your payment rock done. So wait. I'm sorry, Regina did not. She has asthma. Okay, great. So thank you for confirming that. I'm sorry for just rambling away and then forgetting where I was at because rock down. I always spell your. It's like not a natural spelling in my brain. Okay. We do have that. Yeah, I know about Khan Academy, but like her online, like when I put her on Time for Learning or something like that, and she's like, I have to watch a video, and she just doesn't have the patience for it because I get it. So thankfully, I don't feel intimidated by schoolwork and I don't feel like I'm a dummy and so that's like very good. And thankfully she's not like trying to learn rocket science, but if she was, I suppose like whatever. Oh, okay. Okay. I was like, wait a minute, this is not okay, perfect. Okay, so Regine, God, I keep feeling that every time I go back to you. Okay, what do you want to know about her health or do you want to know about work? Because otherwise I'm going to sit and focus on like what I'm trying to get past is the asthma. So if you can just be a little bit more clear, like what do you want me to focus on? Because I'm like, that's what they'll keep bringing up right now, and that's what I'm going to focus on. Holy shit. Um, so I don't know if this is really bothering her right now. God, I wish I had an inhaler. Jesus. Whew. Her energy. Okay. I mean, if you want to talk polar opposites, I would say the two of you are polar opposites. She has a lot of, so when I say intrusive thoughts, I'm not saying she's schizophrenic or anything like that, but there is like a lot of intrusive thoughts going on and a lot of racing. And I feel like she talks really, really fast. And she's always really, really defensive and like ready for a fight. And there's also this dizziness I can't get through. So honestly, I don't know if it doesn't feel like dehydration. It literally feels like there's some kind of substance stuff going on. Unless she actually physically has vertigo, but this feels like um so for me with dehydration, it's just such a less powerful, but this is so like ugh, feeling. Can you validate any of this stuff? I I'm only laughing because I was like, I feel like she might drink a little too much wine, like, she kinda hits that hard, and then I heard she hits the sauce hard. And they specifically said sauce. Uh, so alcoholism runs in my family, and I've never ever liked the smell of alcohol in people's breath, like, it literally physically makes me, like I don't go and throw up, but it makes me really nauseated, it's really bothers me, especially, like, stale, like, the next it's very triggering for me, and that's the way I feel, like, I just feel, like, so ugh about this. I when I'm t when I'm listen, I'm asking about Lydia, your sister. This is what they're bringing up. Can you validate any of this? So does she have some kind of when you say "we," do you mean all 3 of you or just you and Lydia? I'm just looking at who paid for PayPal. Okay. So if this isn't alcohol, that's the way I feel. If it's not, then it's something where hi, Joelle. Um, then it's something where somebody has some major but this is like it's so strong, that's the way I feel. This is like you know how when you drink maybe you don't if you don't like it, but when you drink alcohol and you get to a point, like, I remember, like, being like, "Okay, I'm done being" like, especially in college. I drank that's where I drank more than anything, but it was just like when I used to really drink, and I haven't had a drink in I don't know how long, not because I was an alcoholic myself, but just because whatever, I'm just not a big drinker. Um, it feels like that point where I'm like, "I don't wanna be dizzy anymore, I don't wanna feel this way anymore, I'm ready to be sober." Oh, does he still have a drinking problem? Okay, so maybe that's what they're trying to get me to? Listen, this is not an exact science, and I, like, cannot explain why some things come through the way they do. Like, so initially when I said you guys were polar opposites oh, yeah, I was gonna say she gets real angry, she has really, like she has intrusive thoughts, she's real, like, when she is not afraid to let her voice loose at all, and it's, like, 0 filter, she just says what's on her mind. Um, I feel like so I feel like you tend to see the glass as half empty, and she is definitely I mean, half full, and she is definitely like, "It is half empty, it's damn near empty, like, it is not this is just the way life is," like, I just feel like she's what do you wanna know specifically about her? Because I'm like, "This stuff you know, how is this helpful?" I don't feel like she's bipolar, I don't feel like she has mental health issues, I feel like if anything, she might lean towards, like, I'm like, "ADHD?" They're like, "Nah." I'm like, "Okay." I think she's a pessimist. I think she's really like when they say someone is cynical, she fills the bill. Is she happy? No. Is she gonna change? No. Uh, she's one of those people that's like, even though I'm not happy, it's scarier to do the work, right? Um, like in her mind, it's easier to carry the shame than to look at it and be forgiving and like recognize the all the stuff. Healing work, growth, when you're doing that self-concept work, especially when you start to see that it works and then you start looking at other stuff, it's hard. It's not easy. That's why I call it work. It's not vacation. Nobody's going on a cruise. It's not a healing cruise. it's, it's work. And it's not pretty. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. And she just doesn't want to do the work. Like it's like so many times when I'm like, I see people who get really excited about all this spiritual stuff. And they're like, oh my God, I want everybody to have this experience. I just want like, because I knew it'd be so good for them. I'm like, and people want to buy gifts of readings. I'm like, well, not everybody's there. Not everybody wants to look at their shit. Sorry if anybody's listening, little ears, little ears. Not everybody wants to look at their stuff. So she's not happy, but she's not going to do the work to change. It's easier to sit around and complain about how terrible everything is. We all know those people. We all know those people. So it's not your job to make her happy. It's not your job to try and make her see the light. You just do you. And if she chooses to see it because of you walking through your life, being an example, then she will. But it is exhausting wasting any time on trying to make people see how much easier life could be if they only knew. They could just see it. Hi, Julia. It's nice to meet you. Thank you for coming. Please like and subscribe. Absolutely. Where's my rock? There it is. Have you been having some gut issues lately and headaches? I don't think this is where they're going. I just feel like so. Do you eat a lot of peanuts? I just felt like there was a lot of peanuts in my stomach. So weird. You had a sleeve done. Like since the last time we talked? Because I felt pain in my stomach, and then I don't know why they showed me peanuts. Do you like peanuts? Yes. Okay, you eat a lot of peanuts? Here, wait, there's something I'm hearing a song in my head, so I just wanna look up the lyrics because I'm not fully sure of them, because I sing them the way I hear them, which is not always what the lyrics are. Um, and if you know, you know. It's not made up my mind. It's on Revelator, maybe? Let me get by. Hang on, sorry. Um, Wait, hang on. Let me do this a different way. Sorry, 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 so sorry. Oh my god. Oh, fucking, um, did you hear me? Hang on, let me just see if I think this is the song. Yeah. When the reason why I don't play music, um, like some people do, sorry, I can't like separate. Like out there. Okay, I think that's what it is. Hang on. Okay. The thing I was hearing there was the line, and it says, "Good evening, Julia." Oh, Regine. Oh my God, that's huge. Well, your stomach is definitely going to be different, and I'm glad you feel really good. So the line is, then come on, baby, you must remember that we're one in a million years, and then maybe you will remember we were always going to work it out. The whole song is kind of like the first line is when I watched you walk away, I knew I'd gone too far. So married? You're married, right? That's what I'm asking. Because if I'm hearing that, what it makes me feel like is working things out, like having had a distance between you two, and now it's getting better. And the reason why I don't listen to music like a lot of other readers do is because it like because I get messages through music and stuff, and also it's very hard for me to like I need it quiet so I can focus on them instead of like the music because I get like, oh, pretty colors. Listen to the beat. Oh, do you hear that hi hat? I really like the sound of a hi hat, which is ridiculous, but it's like a hi hat with a nice like guitar and yeah, and then always little brass in the background. You're waiting for him. Why would they play that song? Let me look at the rest of the lyrics. There's some reason they're playing it. Oh, he's coming soon, that's why. Listen, don't laugh about that. I mean, really true, because 'cause I'm like, "What is" like, and I'm like, "Look at" because bleh. Sorry, English, come out of my mouth. Um, it's this feeling of, like I was like, "Well, what's going on?" It's like, "Pay attention to the way she's speaking. I'm waiting. Stop waiting." Start visualizing and seeing it as if he's already with you. Have a little moment, like, where you imagine texting a friend, like, they ask you to do something for the weekend, and, like, so when we talk about manifesting and doing like the visualization work as if it already is, too many people get caught up in needing to be in the scene with the person, blah, 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 blah. And then their brain can't move past it. So see it as something easier where you don't have to see the person, but you're seeing it as like my husband and I. They're also kind of talking a little bit about this idea that you are like hyper independent, which is awesome. It's awesome that you know your own power and that you can do everything. But sort of this idea that, like, the hyper independence also blocks the partnership in a way. So it's not it's just it's sort of this idea like, well, I just do it's like you don't need anybody, so don't look at it as like a what the traditional role of husband and wife is, creates jobs for each role, positions to fill, and I don't think you're consciously doing this, right? I think we all subconsciously do this. If you know that you can do everything you need to do, then there is no reason to fill that job because it's filled. So heal that thought process that we have specific jobs because in and of itself, right? Marriage is just it's a contract. It's a contract of partnership. There's a purpose to it, right? Look at like just look at the in modern day there is no need for it. Um So it's sort of just like working on that idea that you're not meeting him because you need him. It's just an enjoyment of a different sort of partnership, friendship. And I do believe one is coming. I don't think that you're going to be alone forever. He's a very nice, warm smile. Like the hyper independence feels like it comes from me as a lot of the stuff with dad. So make sure you're working on all of those belief systems that unfortunately got programmed in early on. So I don't remember that other reading, but if I've said it before, listen because they don't repeat themselves for no reason at all. I'm getting tired of my DMV blue background. So I'm coming up with an idea lately. I've been searching and researching what I want to do. I have stuff to hang, but I'm like, "Meh." So I'm coming up with something. I don't know it yet, but it literally looks like I have a blue screen behind me or, green screen, blue screen. I'm getting tired of looking at it. They're saying to me he's just around the corner. I don't know what that means. I don't know if he's physically, like, literally close by or if time-wise, it's just around the corner. I also feel like some of your so when you look at when people are like, "Oh, how's this relationship gonna work out?" A lot of times I'll just see what your struggles will be. So it doesn't mean that you can't be in a relationship or you should run, but I feel like where you like so some couples will struggle financially and with power dynamics and things like that. I feel like the struggle will be more with communication. So learning to have effective communication, effective, healthy communication. So that's a balance. Okay. All right, Miss Ashley, you're so welcome. I'm so glad you're doing so well. Please share me with your friends. um, I'm going to add somebody else to the list here. Alexandra, is that your screen name? Ashley, if you want me to start with your first question that I know of, like part of it, because you always ask these long and you give so much detail, and sometimes I don't want you to give me that much detail. Because number one, I could have picked out and validated some of the stuff, and now I feel like, well, I know the whole story, and now I feel like the answer is not going to be psychic. I feel like it's going to be like, girl. Um, so I'm going to tell you that, like, I don't know if this part is psychic, so just bear with me. I forgot his name, but I know it's an S. So I'm going to look at your thing just so I know the name. Sebastian. I didn't even see it. It finally came to me. It's okay. Don't apologize, but I'm telling you what goes through my mind. 'Cause I'm like, oh no, I feel like I can't. I know, but I know you were. And so, but sometimes I don't want, I really don't necessarily want you to do that. And I say that not because I don't appreciate it or I don't understand. It's just like from my end, like I'm doing an event on next week. I'm really excited about it. I get excited about things, whatever. You could be like, oh, I brought you some tea. And I'd be like, oh my God, that's amazing. I'm so excited about it. I get excited about weird little things. Um, But I told the woman, I was like, she started to tell me, like, well, it's for my best friend, and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, stop, 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 stop. No, no, la, 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 la. Like, that's what it felt like I was doing. Because I was like, don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything. I don't want to know, I don't want to know, I don't want to know. And she's like, probably has never had anybody do that to her before. I was like, I don't want to know anything. I see things on where people are like, you could look all this stuff up. I'm like, A, I have three small children. I don't have time for that. B, it's like, if I know anything ahead of time, it feels like less authentic. Anyway, so this is what I'm gonna give you, but I don't know that this is necessarily psychic, but my feeling is that he has issues with channeling his stress in a healthy way. So the whole deal about the mouse and, like, getting so weird about it had nothing to do with that, it was something else that was going on. That said, grown ass man who doesn't know how to deal with his stress and he's taking it out on you and doesn't recognize he's taking it out on you for something that's totally like it's like completely like my deal is annoyance is over here and the stress is over here, but I'm gonna get pissed off about this little bitty thing that's annoying me right now, and I'm gonna just blow all that energy over here. That is an immature person who needs to or would behoove him to work on his shit. So this is not psychic. So I'm going to figure out a way to answer this in a psychic way, but this part's not psychic. It might be beneficial. And I say this after having to like, been in your position where someone's like and it has nothing to do with it, and I am reactive to it rather than approaching it? It's like, "All right, I'm gonna either do this or this. Either way, this was not a reaction that was warranted. If there's something else that's going on, I'm happy to listen, but, like, problem solved." Oh, okay. But am I like I don't think this is psychic either. This is, like, just the person who's been through a lot. Um, it would behoove you to nip that in the bud sooner rather than later, because that is a behavior pattern that is set up to create drama and headaches and, lots of questioning your own self-worth down the road. None of that had anything to do with you. 0. First of all, let's put this into perspective. Expensive or not, the man could buy another mouse. Like, let's just be real on that one. Like, you just get a you walk down to the store or you order one or whatever, like that's absurd. Grown ass man, fully employed, gainfully employed. That's an absurd thing to get upset about. I think, and I don't want to say this like, I don't want to go, oh, he's terrible for you. It's not that. Work on your self concept stuff. This is where it goes all the way back to that. I'm going to say it over and over and over again to everybody because when you do, you either that either shifts or you're just like, whoop, see you later. But it does feel like it's important to it feels like it's really important to nip that in the bud and be like, "Hey, so now that you're not upset about this, I kind of want to like go over it because I don't like the way you handled it." Period. It made me when you said this to me, this is called um the fuck is it called? I can't think of it. Um something communication style. Anyway, but when you said this to me, it made me feel and say how you felt. I felt ashamed. I felt sad. I felt hurt. I felt taken aback. I felt like whatever the fuck you felt. Uh, do you think you might want to approach this differently? And say exactly what you want out of it. Do you want an apology? Would you be willing to apologize to me? Period. If he says no, take that as information. Like, A, why wouldn't or hurt my feelings? It made me feel little. It made me feel dismissed and belittled. Like, it made me feel like whatever the fuck it made you feel. And then like if you can't apologize, like get up and bounce. Like you don't want to be with anybody who cannot apologize to you for hurting your feelings. Period. End of story. That's not a huge request. Okay? That's not a huge request. If he won't apologize for that, that is the red flag of death for relationships. Just fucking leave. Do not, because you deserve better than that. You're worthy and valuable. This is not psychic. This is like, but this does feel like this is the pivotal moment. Remember the studies have been done. The happiest happiest men in the world are married ones. The happiest women in the world are single ones. So, like, set the tone for your relationship in the way you want it to be. Okay. So, like, let's put that into perspective then. Um, don't don't let him sweep it under the rug. And I know it sounds like, oh, it's just a mouse, but it's like, yeah, but this will grow into bigger things where you're like, I didn't even like what the fuck is going on. Um, so I asked just now how will the conversation go, and it does feel, um, like I was, like, seeing it as you in the energy, and it's, like, a very heavier, lower energy. It doesn't feel, like, light and happy because I feel like you walking in very guarded. Um, I gotta be honest, I feel like he's gonna respond in a way that's kinda like, "What are you talking about? It's not that big of a deal. I already said it wasn't a big deal," which is dismissive, right? Because maybe it wasn't a big deal to him, but the way that you were felt like you were treated, it was a big deal. And I have to say, I feel like this is, like, from a universal standpoint, this is very intentional thing that needed to happen for you, um, because I do feel like you've been working on self-concept. It's like it feels like a kind of a weird path about it. Like, it feels like I'm doing really great, and then I'm back, and I'm great, and, like, understand that that's sort of the way the healing journey is. They're showing it to me the way, like, when you take a couple paint colors of paint and you swirl them together? Like, it feels like that kind of a pattern. It's not clean with clear demarcations of color. It's I also feel like they said this isn't the last you'll hear from him, so it's not like this is the end and we're done and blah, blah, blah. It just feels like this is pivotal. Can I ask you something? What worries you about not talking to him? Like, these are and maybe this is rhetorical, but maybe things to think about. Like, so what if you don't talk to him? Like, I spent years going like, "Oh, no, what if I don't talk to this person, and what if I don't" and this is friendships, this is relationships, this is like and honestly, like, I put up with a lot of bullshit in friendships too, like, where I was just, like, wanting people to be my friends who did not treat me with respect, and I was like, "Oh, that's okay, they're my friend." And, like, it wasn't just about romantic relationships, it was friendships too, friendships. I say that lightly because it was definitely a one-sided friendship. And yeah, he let you stay with him, but, like, I do feel like it's gonna be a little bit of a period of not really talking a lot, but it doesn't feel long, so I'm hearing 2, and I'm leaning more towards that being 2 weeks than, like, 2 months, and I feel like it's warranted. Okay. What do you love about him? Think about that on your own, like, you don't have to answer that here, you don't owe me this one, but I want you to really think about what do you love about him? What qualities does he possess? What are the things that are just like, okay? Sometimes not talking is also self-preservation because it just feels like in this situation, it's like if I go and it's not a game. I'm not saying it's a game, but it sends a message if you're just like, "Oh, no big deal that you did that." Because no, it's not really a big deal. But then that shows that you don't have boundaries about what's acceptable behavior. And remember, you can't make somebody else respect your boundaries. Boundaries are really just for you to know what you're willing to put up with and what you're willing not to. And are you willing to put up with that behavior for 10 years, 15, 20? What's your second question? 'Cause that's what I see happening is I feel like you go, you have this conversation, and then there's gonna be a period of and it shouldn't be like, "Does he love me?" Do you love you? Do you love yourself? When we love ourselves and when we do all this self-concept work, it doesn't mean bad things don't ever happen again, and the world just is fucking shiny and beautiful, and, like, I never have a bad day again, this whole, like, manifesting thing when you're like, "I can manifest whatever." It doesn't mean that everything is perfect and falls into place perfectly every single time. Sometimes it takes a little bit of a roundabout way to get there, but also it's like you learn to set those boundaries and you learn to go, like, "I love myself enough to know that, like, while I love you, I love me more." So, not necessary to answer some of these rhetorical questions. It's just like, if this was your friend, what would you tell your friend? If this wasn't you going through the situation, it's like, yeah, okay, I get that you love him, and I'm not trying to dismiss that, but set that boundary. What's your second question? Are there others that are putting things into I'm reading everything out loud because you delete your stuff, and then if somebody comes back and I'm just answering random stuff, they're like, "What the fuck? I can't follow this." Um, okay, are there others that are putting things into my into his head against me? I know his best friend doesn't like me and has many times before. I've also heard there's something being kept from me. Um, all right. Part of me is like, I just need to answer this as a friend. I don't even want to give you my judgment and my opinion. uh, so the reason why I feel like honestly, fuck, Ashley. He um so when I ask like so I don't know that it's necessarily his best friend that has a problem with you because I don't feel like you have ever done anything in order to give off anything other than just being polite and being present around someone. Like you don't feel like a needy, whiny, difficult, crazy, whatever. He sits in judgment of the age difference and, like, there's a cultural difference. Um, it's not so much a judgment of you. So I wanna it's like, it's not like you as a person, but it's like all these judgments he has about you're foreign, you're younger, like, what is she really looking for? There's a story he's made up in his head. And also, I don't necessarily feel like Sebastian's not like the upbeat, friendly, happy, ha ha guy, the world is beautiful. Sebastian probably comes home every day. If you were to ask him every day how his day was, he'd be like, "Oh, it's crap." Like, I don't feel like he so I would just be very leery. I don't know why. I just feel like, uh, just be very leery. What do you mean what's being kept from you? The leery part I feel like is that I don't necessarily feel like he necessarily paints you in the best light to other people. I'm not saying that that's not real. I just feel like there's 2 sides to him. I don't feel like it's a secret baby or that. I just feel like it's Allie, I don't know what you're talking about. That was random, sorry. Yeah, like he presents himself one way to you, and then the whole like your relationship if he's talking about is like a totally different thing to somebody else. Like I don't know. Maybe just look up what covert narcissist is. So just look it up, look at the traits. That's just the feeling I get is like would he have referred to his ex-wife as crazy? No worries. I just was like, am I missing something? So I'm not getting a feeling like I don't feel like there's another family or another girlfriend or anything else like that. I don't feel that at all. I just feel like it just is feeling of covert narcissist. So look up what that is because there's 7 different kinds of narcissism, and it just feels like there's something else. Mm, kind of, but not exactly. So it may be like I just feel like it may be like, "Oh, I love spending time with you. You're so wonderful. I think you're such a great person, blah, blah, blah." But then to other people might be like, "Oh my god, she's such a this, she's such a that." Like, I don't necessarily think like with the best friend, like I don't necessarily think he's getting a beautiful picture painted of you to him. Like there's something else weird going on. And I want to say this to you. Hi, Ashley. Um, oh, sorry. I just realized the same name. I was thinking it was a different Ashley that might be on here. Sorry. It just feels like he just be leery. Just be leery. I don't feel like it's like did when he spoke of his ex-wife, does he call her crazy? Difficult, whatever, but can't really say exactly why she's crazy? That's not a rhetorical question. I'm just curious. No. I thought he was married. Am I on a different timeline? I swear to God, I thought way back when you told me he had been married. Am I on a fucking different timeline? This is really weird. Oh, that was a different one? How does he speak about his ex-girlfriends? Oh, Oliver, that's right, Olivia. I don't know. I just feel like be leery and set the boundaries is just the feeling I get. I do feel like there's gonna be like a 2-week waiting period of like quiet. And this is not to like be like hater on all men and all men are bad, blah, blah, blah. It just feels like because I don't feel like you've done anything that's so like, oh my God, I can't stand her from his best friend. Like that warrants that behavior. I know. I know you didn't. Okay, let me move on because I've been on here for a long time and just talking to you and Regine. So Mallory, do you want to write your question? That's weird. So just look, have that conversation with him. You didn't do anything wrong. It's a weird thing to get upset about. Like, because it's not that hard to replace a mouse. Okay, what are you seeing for me this upcoming week? Um, so I just keep seeing lots of water, and for me, that's like an emotional. So it feels like it's going to be kind of an emotional week for you. Um, a bit stressful. And I don't know that it's work related. I really do feel like it's kind of related to your stepchildren. And I just keep hearing more of like breakthrough release rather than like, and not like releasing them from your life, but just like a breakthrough in the relationship. You're welcome, Ashley. Like maybe for a long time things were at a standstill and like coming to an understanding. I feel like I just have this feeling like she senses like it's so I feel like she's sort of struggling with your role for her now. And that's sort of like, but I have a mom. But I feel like mom is like, I don't think she's terrible. I just don't think she's necessarily emotionally equipped. So we talk about like a lot of parents are going through like a period of like healing their own stuff and reparenting themselves. And I don't think she's there. So there's a lot of like sort of dismissing her feelings, etc. Does this resonate? So it feels like this week there's a breakthrough with her. And I don't know what that breakthrough is. It just feels like it's like a whatever she's going through or whatever that is, there's a big breakthrough this week. I also feel like that feeling where it that feeling of like I feel like she does struggle with this idea, like, "You're not my mom. I have a mom. Like, I don't wanna replace my mom because I do feel like maybe mom has said something to her to that effect. "Don't worry, Abra. I'll get you when you come up. It's fine." It's just this feeling around, like, maybe she comes to a balance within herself. It sounds weird, but I think she might actually live with you at a point. Is she 14 yet? Because if she's not, I feel like by 14, she may be living with you. She's 16? What happened at 14? Is that when her dad passed? Her brother will be 14. Okay. I don't know that the brother will live with you, but I feel like she might live with you at a point. She was 12. And I feel like it's like, one of those where they have a heated argument, and she's just like, "If you don't like it here," and literally that's it, like, she just moves in with you. But this week, something between you and her or for her, that's what is to be expected this week. Okay? You're welcome. Nicole, if you wanna ask your question. Allie, you can ask a question, that's fine. I'm gonna try and move through these a little quicker. Nicole, if you wanna ask. Oh, sorry. My lease is up in February, and I feel like moving instead of renewing. What do I see for you? I know you're not in Hoboken, right? I think you're north of Hoboken. So it's funny the way they're showing it to me, and I know this doesn't make it's not right, but it's just the way they're showing it to me. It's like so like right now I feel like I'm living on a pier, so like right by the water, and I feel like I'm moving just a little further inland and a little further south. I literally I feel like the Hoboken area. I don't feel like moving to Jersey City or anything like that. Um, I just feel like I find a really good deal. You're in Hoboken. Okay, so if you're on the north end of Hoboken, like, say at, like, 14th Street or something like that, I feel like you move more towards the middle of Hoboken. No backyard. It just feels like an apartment building, 1 bedroom. Are you on the north end of Hoboken? Like, the way north end? like, by the water. Like, I literally see, the apartments by the pier? Opposite of the water? Alright, I'll look in just a sec. I just feel like I keep seeing, like, the pier and water, and then but, like, I'm moving, like, say if, like, I'm out on a pier, and then I'm moving in and, like, towards the uh, so I think it might be I don't know. I hear 2 prices, so don't shoot the messenger, like 14 to 1,800, but I also feel like there's some kinda deal, so, like, I don't know if it's, like, 2 months free rent, but I just feel like there's some kind of deal. Like, even though your month to month may be higher, it's like getting something to where it offsets it, and I don't know if 14, 1,800 is too much, but that's what it feels like to me. The first one I heard was 1,800, and then I heard 1,400, so I don't know if maybe it's 1,800 and then offset with whatever the deal is, it becomes 1,400. I predicted your current place. It's so funny when people are like, "Oh, you predicted this," so, like, I'm like, "Okay, thank you for trusting me," because 'cause I'm always like, "I don't know, it just feels like that. I have no idea." Hello. Um, alright, so Charlie, you're up. Go ahead and update the list. So, immediately, and this is gonna sound really weird, I do feel like it will, but I also feels like it's like, um, I don't know if they're this sounds weird. I don't know if they're like they've ordered a rug and they're waiting for it to be delivered. Like there's something where they're aware of the loud, they don't like the loudness either. So it's like, but they're waiting for the rug. They like it's like someone who's there's a rug. I keep seeing a rug coming. What that means. But I also feel like y- you came to the right place. You need to get some earplugs. Like, and nothing fancy, just get some little, like, little earplugs for your ears to wear around in your apartment, not because it's going to I actually feel like you probably have sound sensory issues and are overwhelmed by lots and lots of sound just in general. Um, and you may have sensory issues in other aspects as well. It just feels like you'll move through life a little easier, or if you wear your headphones on noise canceling, not because it'll cancel all of the sound and you'll hear nothing and you'll be totally fine, but it just takes the edge off of life for you. Okay, but not even just a white noise. Okay, first of all, I can tell you this brown noise is better than white noise, like, any day. It's just, like, softer and less, like, grating. Um, but also it feels like you just need something to, like, just all the extra this will actually create calming and soothing. Like, do you have misophonia? Do you and that's where you, like, can't stand people's like, you can hear people's chewing across the room? You can't hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can anyone hear me? Can anyone answer? Okay, Rock John can hear me. Charlie, did you mute me? Okay, I got 2 other people saying the sound is fine. Okay, I got 3 other people saying the sound is fine. Can you hear me, Charlie? Okay, so what I feel like, you would move through your whole day better with just some earplugs on. What I asked you before was, do you have misophonia? Which is where, like, you can hear people chew from across the room. Okay. When I say this is the best gift you're gonna ever give yourself, like, at work, everywhere, either wear your earphones on, get noise canceling little earphones, or wear noise canceling earphones, or I don't care how silly you feel like you look, or stick. Like, I walk around sometimes with I literally will walk around with my headphones in without any noise, just the sound canceling thing. I can still hear everything, but it just, like, softens the world a little bit for me. Just might be something to explore. If I'm suggesting it, they would not give that to me to suggest to you unless it was somewhere to go with it. So wait, yes, no, wait, you don't have the ear chewing thing? Are you really sensitive to sounds? So it's gonna get better, and I feel like it's like 2 or 3 weeks. It's not gonna be like it was before. It feels like it gets better because I feel like they're gonna get a rug, so it's not gonna be so terrible. But I literally feel like it's like I'm waiting on a rug. But also I feel like not necessarily I feel like the noise machine might be a little more jarring than anything, but, um, just I'm answering it for you. Hang on, just, listen back. You can always, you can always email me if you'd like, and I'll take care of that there, okay? That's not a normal thing, that's just since her internet's all messy. Okay, Devry, you're up. I'm glad you're back. I know you probably weren't really happy with me last time. Is Bellemeade Farms your apartments? Okay. So, I feel like it will. I feel like this, like, finality to it. Um, I don't feel like you're gonna have to finish out your lease. I don't know what you do differently, but it's like it feels like, and I don't know if it's by the end of this month, because that's like next week, beginning of next week. But if not, it's like it may go a little bit into November, but I do feel like it, like, being a wall, being done, over, maybe by the end of next month. It's not, it doesn't feel like I'm dragging it out and dragging it out. You moved to Georgia earlier this month? Yes, okay. So then maybe it is by the end of this month, because it's like I just feel like done. Um, are things better for you in Georgia? I feel like they find somebody to live in that apartment, so then it becomes a non-issue. Because I feel like I see somebody moving in. Perfect. Um, I feel like so what's interesting is when I say the like a wall, it's like I saw all this black, but like a wall and no leaking out. No, like so it that's feels like that's a good thing. I just keep hearing you're gonna be fine, by the way. Anything new for you coming in the new year? I do. I see you so much happier, like like just laughing and smiling and out around people. Like it's this celebratory type feeling, like just feeling so much better and enjoying life and smiling. And I know as much as you were like, "Oh, can I move out to Vegas? I want it," but I just feel like you're actually gonna stay there. I feel like you're gonna make a nice life for yourself there. And like big, like I know you feel like I opened you up to a whole bunch of stuff, but I need and that was not like whatever, but when was like talking about all the self-affirmation stuff and like loving yourself and taking care of yourself and all that, but like I feel like it starts to really unfold in a beautiful way for you. February and March are really being highlighted for you as being like this big shift and this realization and like out and celebrating and being in a good mood. They keep saying you're happy for once, like genuinely happy for once. I also feel like they're talking about like you're gonna be going through some really big periods of release. So like you might just randomly be crying. And they're like, don't judge it, just like allow it. You need to release some of the old stuff. Yes, you can ask another question, not on here. That's fine. And you don't have to pay me. It's fine. Devery, if for anybody who's new here and doesn't know, Devery is like constantly on here. So do you want to email me the question and me answer it, or how do you want to do that? You have been. I don't want you to be like, honest, just giving like there are people who are financially supporting me in Devery's it is not lost on me that I know that. I mean, I do think about it. It's funny, like I think about money for other people and will father's multiple myeloma. Oh, geez. Okay, number 1, I'm not gonna answer life expectancy. I think that that's like, the only way I've ever answered, life expectancy, um, ever before is when someone was like their mom was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and I was like, "You have lots of time, several years left to spend time with them." So otherwise I just don't because number 1, timing is weird. And even if we know like when someone's going to die, it does not lessen the blow or the heartache or the grief. So I feel like it does nothing for anybody. It doesn't help anybody in any way to be like, you can't prepare for that. Okay. Like you cannot really prepare for somebody's death. Like even if you're going through the like you're setting up the hospice and everything else, you cannot prepare yourself for the grief and the loss. So if I was like, he's going to die on X, Y, and Z date, get ready. It would also take away from your joy that you're spending with him because that would always be in the back of your mind. So I it's not that you can't predict death. I want to state that. I really believe you can. I think that I could ask the ever almighty whatever. But also when asking things, I think we should really think ethically, is it going to benefit you to know this information? When I gave it to my friend from high school, I gave it to her because I felt like it was going to benefit her to be able to really celebrate her mom and really, like, cherish that time every minute and not be constantly like, "She's gonna die tomorrow, she's gonna die tomorrow, she's gonna die tomorrow." Okay? I wanna be really clear on that. Alright, so let's look at this. Will it be controlled? How long is life expectancy? Get a good treatment for him. I choose Kokoben hospitals for it. Does this affect his throat? I don't know what kind of cancer this is. I'm gonna look up what kind of cancer that is. Is that okay? I wanna see why I'm picking up throat. Oh, blood cancer. Sorry, I didn't know what capilline. Oh, is it supposed to be capillary? I don't know. There's some aspect of it where I feel like I'm clearing my throat. So ask him, does he get sore throats? Does he get like there's something there to that. So I asked about because when you're saying the multiple things, I'm like, is that genetic? And I feel like not genetic. He was exposed to something when he was much younger that set him in line to have more um, risk for these cancers. I don't know if it's throat cancer. I don't necessarily, it's just like I feel like I'm clearing my throat a lot. So could it be that whatever he's on might cause a reflux? Maybe. I don't feel alcohol drinking. It feels like an irritation in my throat. So that said, the reason why I asked about the genetic part, because it's like that fear of whether or not you'll get it. And I feel like, no, this is like one of those things where he was exposed to something. I don't know that it'll be like they're gonna cure him, but I do feel like it's something where they are able to it I'm fighting with the way I'm describing this because I'm like, I don't know if this is the way you describe a blood cancer because it just it feels like it lessens it and keeps it at bay. Um, I do feel like he complains of headaches. There's like a lot of like, and maybe the sore throat thing is part of the treatment kind of thing that comes up for him and the headaches. That might be part of side effects from the treatment. He's got okay. And as far as side effects too, I also feel like just a lot of fatigue. Like he's got fatigue already and it's going to be more. Like he's really going to need and his pride. Woof. I do feel good about the where he's going. I do feel like that's a good place. Um I want to remind you as his caregiver, like his person who will be his voice for the hospital systems and stuff. Um They're making me feel like don't be rash and hasty. Like make sure that you're really approaching it in like a non-emotional way. There's a way to advocate without getting so emotional because it feels like you have to go in there really balanced so that you really hear them clearly. Okay, because I feel like just try not to get overheated and over like because I feel like some of the care might not necessarily make sense, and you're going to be like, well, they don't know what they're doing, but I feel like they do. I also feel like I want to say like if he had to get cancer, it's better that he got it now rather than like this type of cancer than like 2 years ago. Because I feel like they've had like these big changes in treatment that are like world of difference for him. That's where I said the controlling part. So it feels like it. staves it back and keeps it there. Like, that's where I was saying, like, I felt like, Vessel of Yahweh, these are paid readings. Pinned at the top is my PayPal. It's $12 per question. 30% goes to the Community Food Bank of New Jersey, where every dollar provides 3 meals to needy families. That's what I feel, Rockdon. So I feel like it's I heard good prognosis. So it's just he's kind of in that yucky part right now where he feels pretty terrible. And I feel like the side effects from the treatment will be like fatigue. I can't sense staging. Staging is really hard for me with blood cancer, believe it or not. I don't know why. It's when it's other tumors in the body, like, I can feel them really specifically, like, 'cause they're solid is the best way for me to say it. Like, blood cancer is different. I can never really, like, anytime somebody said it, I'm like, "I don't know what kind it is, but I know it's there." It's always blood cancer, and I don't know why I never link it to that. But it's just it feels different to me. It's like when somebody I did a reading for this one woman and I was like, "Oh, I can see 3 little plates in your left foot." And I was like, "Something weird about your right foot." She's like, "Oh, I actually have 3 plates in both feet." And I could tell where they were exactly on the left foot, but I couldn't on the right foot. But like there are certain things that are very solid that I can feel, and I can feel the differences. And like blood cancer never feels like I haven't quite figured out why, or I mean, it's like flowy, like water, liquid seeks its own level. So I don't know. It's weird for me. Um, I don't want to use the word good news because I feel like good news is subjective, right? Like, so I feel like I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel it. So I don't want to say good news, bad news, because that's like all very subjective and that's too black and white. I feel like I push it back, so I make it like less severe and I hold it off there. So I don't know that it clears it completely and he would be considered cancer free, but I just feel like it's minimal. It's less than, it's better. And maybe it's so less than it's undetectable. I don't know exactly, but that's what I feel. It pushes it back and it staves it off there. Okay. Joelle, are you here? You're welcome. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's gotta be awful. And you know, I always say this because I'm not a doctor, not a lawyer, not a therapist, not a financial advisor. If you need one of those, please take those. This is all. But like I recognize that people come to me and in vulnerable places, right? They're not, and I'm sorry that you were losing sleep. I hope that that brings you some sense of peace. And then I'm always like, oh God, please let me be right. I don't know. I mean, I was right about your mom, right? How is she doing, by the way? Just checking my PayPal. Joelle, are you here? If you're not here, Abra, you could go. Improving? Good. Abra, if you're here, Abra Suamenti, if you want to go, or Allie, either one of you guys can go. There you go. So I think I'm at my Well, you know what the advice I'm gonna give you? Okay, here's what I like there I don't know if this is from your guides, but this is what I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna focus on your guides because this is the first stuff that wants to vomit out of my mouth. Um, first, um, I am valuable, I am worthy, I'm amazing, I'm kind, I'm funny. Of course, he would wanna be with me because look how sexy I am. Like, go through the affirmations. It's gonna feel weird, it's gonna feel strange, you're gonna feel like an imposter, like, "Oh my god, this is ridiculous." Just keep saying them to yourself over and fucking over and over and over and over and over and over again. I also want you to focus on learning and focus your day not on like all the love stories and all of that stuff and all the drama in the world. Start listening to affirmations, start listening to people like Neville Goddard, and if you want something more current, Joe Dispenza, um, the power of your mind and thoughts and self-concept, because our insecurities come from a belief system that we were taught that we're not enough, whether it's from society or from our family. Society teaches women that they're not valuable all the time. And you get those stories all the time. Like I remember as a little girl, it's like, oh, once you hit a certain age, you're not, you know, because there was always the stories of like the people in their 40s and 50s getting divorced and then the man going for the younger woman because she's like the prize catch and the woman feeling terrible about herself and like, ugh, that's such a stupid when really it's like they're going for the younger one because they're not wise enough to see that he's all full of bullshit anyway. Who are you? You're amazing. You're a fucking catch. You're lovable. You're loved. And you love yourself. So that's like those are ones I teach my kids. Okay, ready to go through the ones I say to my we say at night. I am powerful. I am worthy. I am valuable. I'm enough. I'm a good person. I'm a good friend. I'm kind. I've got great ideas. I'm smart. I'm beautiful. My opinions matter. My feelings matter. I am loved. I am lovable. I love myself. Like we say all of these things over and over and over and over. Don't apologize. Don't apologize for your English, please. You're like nobody should apologize for their English on here, especially if it's a second or third or fourth language because my god, you're doing better than I would. I sound like a toddler when I speak Spanish. So, you're great. Okay. So what? My cousin is older than her husband. My aunt is older than her husband. Different sides of the family. My aunt's older than her husband by like 12. Her husband is actually the same age as my husband. Who cares? They graduated from high school the same year. And my husband's older than me, and my cousin is older than her husband. 3 years is nothing. I wouldn't worry about it. Who cares? That's society. And really, I really, that's like set up from a whole weird other perspective too. So, and there's nothing sexier than somebody who is genuinely confident and likes themselves. Okay. So please, like, it's that feeling of like, you don't need to do anything to make him like you. Yes. You don't need to do anything to make him like you. It's literally like you just need to convince yourself of your worth, that you're worthy and valuable because you are. Okay. I'm gonna answer your question, Abra. Okay. So it feels like really soaking in, like, the listening. I mean, I listen to Joe Dispenza a lot because each time I take a different little nugget away of like, "Oh, yeah, that's right." Like, he said something and I was like, "Oh," I think about that every morning now where he's like, "Every morning, if you're waking up doing the exact same thing every morning without thinking about it, you're stuck in the program. It's the minute that you stop thinking about it and you do something new, you've changed the program and you're out of the program now and you're changing your belief systems." So every time you think like, oh, like you get off texting him or FaceTiming him or whatever however you chat with this dude, you're like, oh, but he probably doesn't like me. That's the program. The new thing is like, of course he likes me. He wouldn't talk to me if he didn't like me. Change the program, change the way your automatic thoughts are. When you decide that your thoughts are really important and are the things that are creating your life, you will start becoming the observer of your thoughts and it will shift your world dramatically. I read slowly, Abra, so we're good. But it's not, you don't need to do anything to like make him like you more or anything else. You just need to like change the program and leave it open for that to happen. Dude, I hate when my anxiety is not intuition, anxiety is not reality. Anxiety is a little old ninny who's like, "Oh, but like if you open the gate, then the scary men are gonna come in." And you're like, "Okay, but like literally there's nobody around. We're totally safe." It's like that your anxiety is that old person's like, "Don't watch out for the candy. There might be a razor blade in the candy." And you're like, "Okay, but like I'm perfectly capable of checking my own candy." That's anxiety. Okay? Remember. Um now I'm gonna move to Abra. Abra, okay, so here's the deal. Um, I don't feel like you should not pursue your spiritual connection gifts. How did you say it? Um, spiritual work. Um, just because there are difficulties does not mean that you shouldn't do it. I've come up against a lot of walls in building a business and developing my gifts and making the connections. And they weren't ever there because I wasn't supposed to do it. It's sort of, there's twofold reasons. For number one, you learn through those struggles. If everything was easy and you just coast through it, like literally you learn nothing. I mean, I hate to say it, but like you just don't. The learning process is always a little bit hinky. Um, the other part of that is too, is like the universe goes, "Oh, you want this? We're gonna make it a little bit difficult and see if you really want this." And I have to tell you, like, I've had a lot of difficult things where I've had to be like, "No, I want this. I'm gonna keep pursuing it, even though it's not a straight line to get there." So I feel like I'm gonna say it this way. My feeling is you are supposed to pursue it, and they said this very clearly, and I've said this before. It's if it wasn't meant for you, you wouldn't have had the idea to pursue it. Let me know if my English is clear or if I need to reword it to make it more understandable. I also know um, when you learn a different language, you understand more than you can speak sometimes too. So, have you ever been to Spain? That's the only country I've been to other than Mexico outside of the United States. And I adore it. I love the culture. I like the pace of life there. You're welcome. Who's outside the door? Who's there?
Hi.
Hi, what's up?
Almost done.
Almost done. Mhm.
Okay, because it feels like
It did. Sorry. I love you.
Mm.
Ah. Okay. Was it clear? That was my oldest. All right. I think I will say good night. Adieu, adieu. I will see you next week. Anyone who tells you that the veil is thinner this time of year, I used to believe that too until I understood the veil is something that is like our own individual thing. It is not a collective. It can be this thin any time of the year. It's just wherever your belief system lies. Oh yeah, Devery, if you want to do your third one, did you email it to me? You didn't have to pay me, you stinker. Did you email it to me? I keep getting all these warnings from Google. Your storage, which means I need to go out and clean out all of my pictures. Oh, I know I asked this before, but the other day I was visiting my sister and a friend with their kids, and it made me wonder when it would be my turn. Oh, that's really cool. The past life regression hypnosis. Do it. Do it. That's really cool. um, that's one of those things too that like it's just you get so much better as you go along, and it might not be a straight line, and that's okay. Okay. Do I still see you married and with kids? Mhm. I have to say this, I don't know that you're gonna marry somebody that I think they'll already have children of their own. Um, I'm not saying you're not gonna have any of your own, I'm just saying I see them with children of their own first. Um, and I feel like you're gonna be, like, kinda like Mallory, where it's like you're really, like, become a mother figure to them, but not in a way of, like, "I'm gonna be a better mother than they are," but just you develop a nice I don't wanna say friendship because it's more than that, it's not like a mentorship, but it's just a nice motherly connection without trying to like, just an adult female perspective and guidance. Okay, Devery? That answer was for Devery. Sorry. Yeah. It I'm not getting a number. So I'm like it's like I'm not getting a definite number. It's like it may be 1 or 2, but I feel like there's more kids in the house. That's why I feel like he's coming in with some. And I feel like even though now you might be like, "Oh, I only have 1 kid," I feel like if it's just 1, it feels like but it's enough and you don't feel disappointed or sad like, "I didn't have more." And it doesn't mean it's a rough kid and that's why you're like, "Oh, thank God." It just feels like, I'm okay with this." Difficulties doesn't mean to give up. Perfect. Yes, Abra. And I feel like you're gonna meet this person sooner than you think. And they go, "She needs to be caught off guard a little bit." Meaning, like, you're definitely not gonna be expecting this. And I'm glad you've had some healing with your mom. My feet are getting cold. I didn't turn my heater on today. Okie dokie. All right, now I'm going to say goodnight. I hope you guys have a great week, ladies, gentlemen, non-binary, however you present, souls. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week. Enjoy your holiday. I will be here. It'll be October 30th. It'll be perfect. Spooky. All right. Have a good one. Good night.